Welcome everybody back to another Bullcast reaction. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is Solo Leveling, the moment you've all been waiting for. Next week, on Saturday, after Solo Leveling, we will be doing a rewatch stream on Twitch for Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 Shibuya Incident Arc, as we're trying to prepare for like a review podcast type thing. So make sure to check out our Twitch, follow that. Next week will be the start of the rewatch. It'll probably take a few days or a couple weeks to do that, and then we'll be doing podcasts on YouTube. But go to Twitch, follow that. Anyway, this is a very anticipated show that a lot of people have been waiting for since the start of our channel. Like, well, not since like as if it's something to do with us. Since around the time where we started our channel in 2020, there were all these manhwa adaptations, and when God of High School was coming out and Tower of God and stuff, everyone was like, oh, what about Solo Leveling? So we've been talking about this for a long time. I'm ready to get into it. It's very exciting stuff. Leave a like and subscribe. Let's see what this is all about and talk about it after. Hope you enjoy. Let's go. 3 years ago on this like battle royale looking island. Hunter. What?
This is literally Hunter x Hunter. Not anymore.
Oh, but very fantasy. I was not expecting this. That's the thing. We don't really know anything about this. Oh shit. Well, it looked like that was like a real life navy, and then there's mages on this island.
Yeah. It's not looking too good.
So it seems like maybe it's like a blending of the worlds type thing. Is that Hiroyuki Sawano? Is that the main guy? Oh, and he has healing too? Guy's like a brawler tank type dude. Hunter. If this is gonna be fun. I'm calling them hunters the whole time.
It's freaky.
Is that Yuki Kaji? Am I crazy? You know, with what does Sasuke call it? The Kirin. Not quite the same, but that's pretty badass.
Yeah.
Killed him with his own mandible.
Oh. It was just more.
I figured is he like a werewolf guy? Oh, he's got like a berserk mode. He's like a barbarian. Ooh, that was cool.
All
That was
these buildings
sick.
over here too.
Guildmaster.
I do like the music.
It sounds like it's either Sawano or somebody trying to get that effect that Sawano has with all the drums and the horns and stuff. The worlds are blending.
Went through.
I like that. I like that. There's been shows like this that like have this kind of a premise, but I never watched any of them. Other than Fate, if you can kind of say that, but it's not really the same. Oh, okay. So the main character isn't he? Is the main character there? I think not. He's gonna be an S all on his own.
He's to level up by himself.
What does leveling up mean though in this thing? Is there gonna be some like, you know, isekai, you know, magic,
I killed this
magic girl?
things.
Yeah, exactly. This level up
Or is
system.
it like One Punch Man where like you have to like go to this academy and then they like rank you?
Yeah, I think the idea of solo leveling is like in an MMO, these games where like, yeah, you have like this whole guild or this whole
You
team.
just do it by yourself.
You do well. The idea is you can't really do it by yourself effectively. Like you can't learn everything on your own in these games. So, but this isn't quite a game, so we'll see. This guy's hairstyle is something else. I mean, I'm one to talk, but still. Sung.
Hey, it's that useless guy.
Is that Scott Pilgrim or that guy from fucking? He looks like the guy from Gleipnir. He looks like the guy from bringing us back to our roots. Wow.
Great nickname.
So this is like they're like construction workers. It's like such a low level
Yeah, they're just showing
hunter,
up.
you know, group. They're literally like street cleaners, like level of just. Did it say how long ago this happened?
10 years ago.
Okay. It seems like it's just become a part of the world at this point, which is kind of, I guess, a little bit realistic. Oh yes, my favorite character in anime. Girl with bangs. This guy's eyes are a little bit something. Who's that dude with the red sweater and the fucking spiky hair? He looks cool.
She's like, oh my god, how did this guy get on my group? How do they keep hiring this guy? Yeah?
Because apparently he's the weakest of all time. How many hunters are there that they keep, like, there's a leaderboard of thousands of people and they keep track of, like, oh yeah, that one guy in fucking whatever. He's a complete loser. There must not be that many if there's
if they're accepting, not just being like, you know,
not just
stay
accepting,
home.
but remember, like, that they know that there's enough of a community that
Well,
they
I think
know.
he just keeps showing up and like working. Like he just keeps clocking in, and like people are like, "Oh, this guy again."
I wonder if where they just went in is, oh, this is like a shitty little dungeon. If they're just all gonna get absolutely destroyed, or maybe they'll find an artifact and they'll all die and like, is that Garp? Ooh, essence stones. He's gonna find one of these big ones and use it. If he keeps it, he'll level up. Shit, daggers. Get one of those goblin swords.
Yeah.
Like, God,
yeah,
it's way better.
If you can only afford like a...
Like, yours looks really cool, but like, the goblin sword on the hardness scale is clearly beating you out. This really sounds like Sawano the more I hear it.
Is she a healer, or she's just the
I
girl,
think so.
she has to stay back and help?
She's a healer. Well, she's both. She's a girl, so therefore she's the healer. Oh, so you get these essence stones and then...
You can like upgrade your stuff
Yeah.
with it.
Oh, I like that. I like that idea. Like, you know, say for the nuclear, yeah. I hope they get into like why there's this game, like it's not quite a game system, but like why they carry these stones. This is the lowest level of thing that you can fight. That thing is fucking terrifying. Could you imagine running into something like that in real life?
Yeah.
I figured it'd be like rad roaches.
Oh, I think that this isn't like. I think that like it's like the last one that he went.
The last
on
one he went on was, but
the,
I figure the reason why he can go on this one is because it was also an E level or a D level. Either way,
maybe D, because they said that they didn't bother sending healers before.
Right.
It was like the
So
things
weak.
were so weak.
Yeah, I could see this as a D. I mean, kind of. They're establishing the power scaling pretty early. Well, time to prove yourself.
Everyone's just gonna die. It's like, oh, we thought this was a D rank dungeon, but it's actually an S rank dungeon.
That's what I said. I said that earlier.
What? I didn't hear you.
I said it before they went in. Yeah, fuck that. Well, like, why? This is a day job.
Yeah, but they want to get more stuff.
Yeah, but it's not smart. Oh, you have a family. Oh.
That's rough. I do like that he has motivations and isn't just an idiot that's like delusional
And
about
like trying
like,
to prove
being
himself.
a badass.
Yeah. It's like, oh no, I need everyone to think that I'm cool.
Yeah.
Or I need to live up
I'm
to
gonna
the
prove
hype.
myself. I'm gonna be the best.
I'm gonna sacrifice my life for this day job that pays like fucking minimum wage, basically. Chahai.
We had the healer girl, now we have the ultra badass girl.
Yeah, we got Maki now.
Yeah.
Is that who he was just referring to?
Probably. Or they're gonna like find this girl and try and recruit her, and she's gonna be like, I only work alone.
She's tall.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it is her.
We stand a tall, powerful queen over here. She's like, oh, I'm so embarrassed.
I was thinking the same thing.
Not just jumps away, like flips and fucking does all these crazy gymnastic moves away. I mean, maybe that's part of her background. Maybe that's visual storytelling. Maybe she like was
An acrobat
a gym. Yeah, I mean, she's tall. She was probably athletic growing up. It's probably character building. Boob shot randomly. Why? They show the side of his head, but they just show her tits in the shot with his face in the corner. Right, and your yelling is definitely helping us stay safe right now. Oh, she's B rank. So she's just very conservative and isn't very confident in herself.
Mm.
This guy's literally me.
Yeah, this looks way higher level. He's gonna open this door and then just get incinerated.
Handa Kyokai. Oh,
Couldn't have thought of a different name.
I mean, well, the thing is, this is exactly like what we were talking about with God of High School and with Tower of God 2, where it's like, you know, it's a different country, so it's not the same level of expectation. Because Tower of God did this as well, where it's like, oh, this is very familiar to something else that I know about. And then, but you hadn't seen Hunter x Hunter by that point. Mm. And then obviously God of High School as well was like, oh, it's kind of like, you know, he's kind of like Korean Goku, basically.
This is reminding me of Ranking of Kings, like the creepy room with all the ice statues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a very, very much a ritual room. All these things are going to come to life and kill them all.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do not activate that circle.
Yeah, activate that, sure. Read it out loud. And sing it, actually, and it'll come, you know, maybe it'll give you some money. What if this girl isn't gonna, like, save him from being healed, and is she also just gonna die here? Probably.
I think she was asking him out, she's definitely gonna die.
Yeah. I figured they were like, oh, B rank healer. That means that she, you know, okay, so he'll be fine.
Maybe just leave.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, they're all gonna die for sure.
What if they just don't attack him because he's so bad that it doesn't even he's not even on their radar?
What if this is like a ritual room and he'll get all of their strength or something?
It's like last one alive.
Well, yeah, because he's so weak. Yeah.
Well.
GG. Oh, does he have... I wonder if it's not going to be some of this room, or if he has like some sort of secret Ackerman power. Mm.
It would have been funny if you just had like a kitchen knife. This knife that I got out of my
You can't afford shoes.
Oh.
Oh shit. She not gonna have her legs? Oh.
Oh.
Oh, she's dead. Wait, really? That's the whole first episode?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't want to get spoiled on the...
Song.
Is there an episode 2 out? No. All right, well...
We've just been getting too spoiled with, like, extra long
Well,
first
it wasn't even an
episodes.
extra long, like, that's just a weird cliffhanger.
Yeah.
That's a weird cliffhanger, to be honest, but, I mean, all right.
What'd you
I just
think
feel
so-
it's
oh.
I mean, it's fine. It's just all we got was exposition on the world and... I mean, we said, it's pretty obvious that they're all gonna go in there and die. Like, that's the kind of the point of it. So I figured that the hook was gonna be him, like, getting power from this or something like that. And maybe he still will. It's just weird to leave off the first episode there without a second episode. Because I feel like, it's not a crazy thing to predict that they would go there. Because they make a big deal about, like,
It's not
I'm
like,
so cute. I
shit,
don't know,
they're
I'm
all
your
gonna
friend. Why
die.
don't you take me out? And then, who's in favor of risking our lives in this creepy hole that's outside of our jurisdiction? It's not like it's a crazy... I feel like you're supposed to predict it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, the average person is supposed to be like, I don't know about this. And then they go in anyway, and it's this tension. And then they die, but that's expected. So I feel like the hook should have been like a step further from this, and I wonder if anybody who's read the source material like agrees with that or what, because I don't know if he gets like powers from this or if he just like narrowly escapes and whatever, but I figure this is like a ritual chamber. Everybody gets sacrificed and then maybe he'll get their power, or he'll just steal their money that they collected from the mission they were just on, and that'll give him a leg up, and then he's like, I don't want that to happen to me, that can't happen to me, and then he just gets serious about his job. And it's not like a magic thing, but overall, like, the thing is, like, I like it just fine, the show. It's just I didn't get that, like, that snappy little, like, I didn't get that thing of like, okay,
No,
I got
really
a full
wanna watch the
picture.
next
Yeah,
one.
it's like I feel like I got 80% of the first bit of it, like to where the hook is. I feel like there's still just like a little bit more, so it's hard for me to say like, oh, I'm really excited about this or I'm really excited about that. There are a couple things that I really like, but it's mostly just teasing characters that people probably know who've read the source material. It seems like this is a lot for like, it seems so far like this first episode especially is a lot of an adaptation for people who like were expecting things from the show. And it's more of a promise to people who are already invested. Not more of it's like calling it there for the first episode. I think is partially showing people like, okay, here's what the show is going to be like. If you've read the source material, then like, we're including this, we included that, we included this girl, and we included the Hunter Association. We all the magic. Here's a little bit of the animation. Here's what the show's going to look like. Here's what you can expect. Where here's if you've read the source material, that you have certain expectations or worries about how the adaptation is going to go. So then just having the first episode here kind of lay the groundwork for the ride that they're going to be on. But as a first viewer who we've stayed away from the hype, we didn't know exactly what this is going to be. I thought this was going to be, going into it, I figured Solo Leveling, I thought there was going to be like a full-on isekai. But it's kind of, it kind of is, but it's kind of playing with that idea a little bit. They're not like going into the other world's coming into their world.
Yeah,
but all of the same
yeah.
rules apply to that sort of paradigm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. I think that the setup of this first episode, it's like trying to show you like as someone new rather than, and I think for a lot of people just like the final moments of like everyone getting slaughtered like would be like, oh yeah, I'm really into this. I think that like that's not that it's something that we're necessarily opposed to. It's like
it's just something we're kind of numb to.
It's not like a huge shock factor.
Yeah.
But I imagine for some people, like if you're getting in, like if you never watched a show like this or that like had that crazy thing, you'd be like, oh my god, this is so brutal. I want to keep going. But for me, what I did like about it is that like we have a main character who, and I did like that his like being like a weakling and like getting attacked all the time like helped him in this final moment, because he's just like, I feel the impending, I feel death just swooping down upon me, but I've been here before, and not in a badass way. Like all of these other people that are more capable, that like usually when something is coming they can fight it, he's like, I've never fought against anything in my life. Throw yourself to the ground.
Yeah.
But I do also like that he's not just like for no reason, like super dumb and like delusional about his own abilities. Yeah. Because I feel like we get a lot of that, like a Takamichi style guy, where it's just like,
you have no reason to think
I get
you can
it.
Do anything.
You know, you want to be a badass, but you're not, and you're putting the people around you in danger, and it's very selfish. Yeah. But this, I feel like, is different and more, and a little bit more similar to, what's that girl's name in Chainsaw Man?
Kobani?
Yeah, Kobani. How she...
but Kobani was actually a badass.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, the situation is more similar, how, like, she, like, and she was scared, and, like, she, like, you know, became more of a badass, like, in that moment and stuff, and she like, she's a bit unhinged and stuff. But I guess what I'm saying is, like, the stakes are, like, very high. It's like he has to do this. He doesn't have a choice. He's not just, you know, being, like, he knows that he's bad, but he's just trying so hard to get money, to provide for his sister who's in college and his mom who's in the hospital.
Yeah. I feel like the alternative of what this character or what the character archetype they could have used for this type of story, like usually in isekai or like fantasy thing like this, where, you know, like the guy is either blank slate entirely, he's like average skill level, average height, average hair color, average everything. I'm thinking of like Akame ga Kill, which you haven't seen, but it's like, there's a similar thing I guess that's a spoiler. There's a similar thing that happens near the start of the story where it's just like, oh, you know, you thought that it was just a normal fantasy thing, and then here's this huge tragedy, and now, you know, the story starts, and in that, it's just like his character at the beginning is just so baseline, and the point of it is to lull you in this false sense of security because he's so basic, and the world is so basic, everything is so basic, and then it takes kind of a turn. In this, I guess, you know, I kind of prefer the way that it's, you know, he does actually care. He actually has, you know, desires. They're setting up a little bit blatantly for my taste, like the power not just the power scaling, but like, oh, I have a knife and I can't do anything. He's like, I am zero and I'm going to be like the best. And you know, they're setting up like it's very first chapter-y type stuff that you see in manga all the time, where it's like, okay, everybody, thanks for checking out my chapter in this magazine. If you stick around next week, then I can keep my job, and you'll get the road towards this power scaling, this whole, like, you know, they establish the power system. They say like, oh, the guy's this much powerful, he has the potential to be this powerful, etc., etc. But yeah, the fact that he actually is afraid and not just like, or like a Kirito type guy, or like a, you know, I'm so useless, but he's actually like super, you know, like, and maybe we will get something like that next time.
And it's not, and he's scared.
But like, he's not just inexplicably a badass, so that I'm like, oh, he's just like me for real. I'm so, you know, I'm also useless, but also want to be like super badass in this world.
But he's also not, it's also not like he doesn't really try either. Like, he was trying to fight back, but also him being poor is really holding him back because he can't get good, like, it's like he got in the game late with nothing. It's like other people like bought like a booster pack to like help them, because it's like the whole thing is, if you can't earn money unless you kill these monsters and get these things. Yeah. But then it's like, you can't kill the monsters if if on like these low level monsters, your knife just shatters into a million pieces. Yeah. And you're like walking around in shoes that are like completely broken, and you know what I mean?
So it's kind of like the rich get richer and the poor get poorer.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
There's like, getting from 1 to 100 is easier than getting from 0 to 1 type thing.
And then it seems like as well, then we have that one girl with the blonde hair that was like a badass, and that's like she's like an S rank, but instead of like, I mean, she probably does go in dungeons and stuff, but she's like out and like stopping thieves on the
I think she was
street.
just out today, and that she just
But
happened to be around.
it's just showing that like she is like it's showing like the type of person that she is, that she doesn't have like a huge ego and is like, oh, all these people are beneath me and I don't care about them, you know?
And again, like the showing her here as well is kind of a signpost to like the twist at the end that makes it like, I think it like so much of this first episode, and I imagine the source material, if it's anything like this, is it's not just like, oh, I wasn't expecting everyone to die. It's like everything was leading up to them getting absolutely destroyed in this temple, which is why it's kind of a weird place to leave it off, because it's exactly like, it's like, all right, this happens, and this happens, and then this happens, and that's it. And it's like, oh, but we didn't get like the sort of come around twist factor at the end, or like the how does he get out of this, like, you know, a complete first little hook there. Because like the fact they introduced this like healer girl, on one hand it was like I said, where it's like, oh, he'll be fine, like even if they get hurt in there, she can heal him. But it's also clearly she will die a lot, like, you know, and like fuel his fire to like, you know, get better or whatever. But the fact they also introduced another waifu who's like a really badass in the like right after we get introduced to the first girl, it's like we didn't even get the first girl's personality. Now we're already building up this like crazy other waifu, you know, main manga volume or manhwa volume like cover art character, and yeah, so. That just the fact that she's introduced right here could just be some world building stuff, but like, you know, they're keeping that element in there by introducing her right there rather than after this whole like hook area. But it's also, it might even just be if it's not in the source material that she's introduced right there, it might just be again this like promise that like, oh, all you fans who've been waiting years for the show to get adapted,
and this is like your
a lot of people's probably favorite character. This is like your ultimate waifu, you know, badass girl. She kicks ass. She's super tall. I like that she's tall, first of all. Yeah, I just, you know, it might just be like a lot of this just seems like a promise, like, everybody, it's here. We're not gonna hype you up with like the big hook of the first episode of like the first little part of the story. It feels like what they're hooking us with is just the fact that this is finally here. It's like they're like, Solo Leveling is finally adapted, and you know, there you go. As far as like the quality of the adaptation, it's fine. I liked when it went all actiony and crazy at the end. The start with all the fighting the monsters and stuff was pretty cool. I guess these are like probably guys we'll meet later, or again, like I wonder if this is how the series opens up, or if it's like there's random guys, like these are just like, oh, this is like an average fighting group, and these guys are just being badass, and it's like, oh, here, let's open up with some cool animation. We can't have the main guy do it because obviously he's like, the whole twist of the end of the episode is that he's weak and shitty, and then everybody dies. So, you know, let's just put, you know, give an idea of like, here's a magic guy, here's a brawler guy, here's, you know, he has a transformation type thing where he goes all like beast mode. There's a healer dude. And there's like guilds and stuff. It's like a lot of introducing you to sort of how, the way this works and everything, and how it's all melded in with society. So yeah, a lot of this episode was like very information heavy, and
but I did like it because it didn't seem overwhelming.
No, it didn't seem
and
overwhelming.
Like even all this like the stuff with like the association and like all these like political and like, oh, we're gonna like get power from these things, like even all of that seemed much like simple, but not necessarily in a bad way, just more, you know, I mean, and maybe there'll be a reveal later where there's like some sort of like evil government corruption plan going on, and it's not just that they want like cleaner and safer power for everyone. And it's like I you know,
we didn't even talk
I'm open
about
to that, and I am honestly kind of expecting something like that. But I do like that they're not making the conversations that are just extremely cryptic in the first episode, that like new to just like confuse you, and like, because instead I'm like, oh, I see that there's like gonna be like a political aspect in this show, and like I can understand what's going on, and I'm interested to see more and like how that develops. But I feel like sometimes in other shows in like the first episode there will be like some guys and their faces will be like half obscured, and they'll be like oh, we're gonna make this deal or like do this thing, and it's like
Talking about God of High School.
yes, or
Yeah, well, God of High School was the opposite.
in other things where it's just like, you know, they want to like let you know that there's a political aspect, but don't want to like get too into it. Or
with God of High School specifically, the point of that political aspect was to show I don't give a fuck about this politics stuff. It's just, it has to be here in order for the story to actually exist. So I'm just going, you know, all these guys, oh, my foundation, blah, blah, blah. And then they all just get crushed by a giant handprint and the entire island gets flattened. So like, the point of it is like, this is about fighting. This is all a justification for fighting. Don't think too much about this. It's fine. In this case, it seems like they actually are setting something up, like you're saying. Like, and part, I guess, first theory of solo leveling. This guy is old, and he's the leader of this association that was supposedly founded like 10 years ago. Like the portals opened up 10 years ago. The portals.
Well, there's hunters already, I believe,
right.
in the other world.
Right. This is what I'm getting to. That like I wonder if the Hunter Association, to get more energy, get to more of these essence stones and stuff, opened up the portals on purpose to create this whole sort of economy around it. Like, you know, if we open up the portals, more people will join to be hunters, and then if we create the association that sort of gatekeeps the stones and takes a toll or a tax off of that, we get a percentage of it, and then we can make this clean energy. And maybe it's not just you know, greed based, or maybe it is greed based, and that's the twist, because they're saying it's like all clean energy, but maybe they actually do want to have clean energy, and that's like a big deal. Like there's some, you know, it's a environmental thing, but I doubt it. It's probably like they're using the green energy thing as like a front for what they really want, which is to control the, you know, the flow of these essence stones, which is like, you know, it was likened to money in this when Sung was like clutching, he's like, I need this money for my family. So it's not just energy, and it's not just level up stones or, you know, to upgrade your weaponry. It's money. It has value in the world. And I because, you know, I guess there were hunters beforehand. This guy's all scarred up as if he's been doing this for probably most of his adult life. I don't know if he was a part of this or why it opened up, because there was like 10 years ago it opened up, and now these guys are in this big office and like, you know, talking about
they've
farming all this
very
shit.
well to this.
They've
like,
adapted exceedingly well to this circumstance. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm interested to see, like, I mean, it could just be like the story is just like, that happened and like this is how it is now, so just like accept it. But I think it could be interesting if we got more into like why that happened, or
the story's been going on for like years now, so I imagine it's, you know,
been
there's some
touched on.
It's probably, you know, at some point it might not have been anything, but like I think just the popularity of this and like how far it's gone, and also that it seems to be more of like an isekai-esque sort of story where like the main character's a certain way, the powers are all familiar, everything is very familiar, it's even hunters, etc., etc. Like it's drawing on a lot of convention that like a lot of people know about this genre, and it is Korean, so like with God of High School and like with Tower of God, it's like there's some expectation that, you know, if you're reading a manga, you know, if you use hunter, or if you use these basic conventions, or if you use like a Sun Wukong reference, then it's like you expect things to be sort of taken a different direction than they would have from like what you're sort of not lifting from, that's a strong word, but like what you're sort of inspired by. You expect things to be sort of taken a step further but it's a different country, and it's a different publishing industry and a different circumstance, so it you know, influences can work kind of differently in different countries. But what am I saying? It's like a lot of the setup is very conventional. So I imagine with like the whole essence stone thing, it's probably not like a big environmental world-changing disaster type thing. I imagine like a theme like just corporate greed, or like greed at the top because he's all poor. Like I feel like that's kind of the theme being set up here, is that like he's really poor, he has to work for everything, he doesn't have money for do all this, he doesn't have money for his mother's medical bills, or for his daughter's, or for his sister's schooling, or whatever. There's all these like financial sort of pressures on this one kid who's just this young kid, and he doesn't get to live his life, he has to risk his life for all this stuff. And then we have people at the top talking about, oh well, we need all this stuff for clean energy, or we need to do all this. And I imagine, you know, it's not this altruistic thing at the top and then this like disparity at the bottom. They're probably linked, which makes me think that the underlying thing is probably this twist of like, oh, we really want it for ourselves or whatever. Maybe not this guy, maybe he is like lobbying for it to be used ethically, but like the government maybe is trying to, you know,
Do
or something.
else.
There's a more, like you said, it's setting up for a more political aspect. And I hope it takes it in an interesting direction past what we both already kind of said about it. But other than that, I just really wish that they took it a step further with this first episode, honestly.
I like the statue shooting
Laser
lasers.
eyes.
It reminded me of the sphinxes in Neverending Story. How it's like, oh, you have to like go through here, and if you're like not worthy, then I'll like shoot you or with lasers or whatever.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens next time. Leave a like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Check out Twitch for Jujutsu Kaisen Rewatch next week.